Now here's a question for you all. What were you 8 days before you were conceived in your mother's womb?
I'll answer. I am, I was, but I am now.
No, there was no I am 8 days before you were conceived. There was no I am till you were about 2. The I am is awareness or consciousness. That was not there 8 days before conception. That wasn't there until somewhere around the age of 2 or 2.5. The I am is an appearance on what you are. What you are was just as ever present 8 days before conception as it is now. This is pointing to the absolute prior to consciousness, prior to awareness, prior to aliveness, the absolute totality of no thing before even no thing. Try to put that one into words. Awareness is an appearance on the absolute. It's the beginning of dualism. Or I should say the beginning of duality is awareness. And in an awareness arises the idea of I am and others are. I and other. Now, the pure I am itself, before it arises as a concept, is what we call awakeness or awareness or consciousness, whichever label you like. But we're getting the level of abstraction up to the absolute now. Can't define it or describe it. It's that which is before either knowing or not knowing. It's that which is prior to I am. In that, on that, I am arises as being awareness. Then that being awareness gets translated into the concept I am.
And then all hell breaks loose as a dream.
Yeah. Bang, you got a whole bunch of universes coming out of nowhere. The whole thing can evaporate in this instant. No one would ever know there was such a thing as a universe or a dream or a telephone or a conference call. So this absolute allows for presence awareness and aliveness. Unquantifiable, indescribable. It's neither an object nor a subject. Steve, you have a doubt, question, yes, but, anything?
You heard it all the way out there.
It was pretty loud.
I'm sitting here and I don't have put a question on this, but seems to be just like, again, pretty much the question from last time. There seems to be so much dilemma that shows up. Just from going from one minute or hour to the next, to day to day, all sorts of dilemma shows up, and I don't know. The other, it's also like there is this call and this truth, and then it seems that what I see is it constantly gets tempered with, yes, this is true, and I practice prayer all the time, or I'm doing this clearing work, or I'm doing this treatment protocol, or there seems to be always, I hear like always an understanding of the truth as we're talking about it here, and then there's this devotion to doing other things, or it could be for somebody working, or it could be. So I even last time there was a kind of a joke of like somebody said something, I don't remember who it was, and then you said something like well, just throw out all your money or something like that, and then there was a laugh. But there seems to be, in that laugh, there seems to be some kind of a practical sort of, we have this truth, and yet you have to pay some bills, or there's a crack in that door of practicality, then the flood of practicality seems to come in. And I know that's not a real clear question, but there's just that this world is just right at your doorstep, and so that living this truth, staying with it, to me is a huge challenge, because the world of practicality, which my particular life seems to lack a great deal, it just seems to be right there and ready to flood in.
Yeah.
Is that a question, Charlie?
Well, let's tell you what I heard, a few things. First of all, that none of this is the truth. There's no truth here.
I don't know. What do you mean?
What I mean is that all these are concepts, or pointers. Everything that's being shared is concepts that are pointing to that which can't be described. So they're not truths. If you want truths, find a good church or synagogue. They specialize in truth. Another word for truth is dogma. Okay? Another word for truth is bullshit. So there are many purveyors of bullshit all over the country, all over the world. And we're not one of them, hopefully. So there is no truth here. And the other thing is that you can't use non-duality. You can't practice non-duality. You cannot stay with any truth, because there's no truth to stay with and no you to stay with it. Now, that as a pointer only can maybe begin to open a kind of a different way of looking. But it's not a truth. It's not the truth that you don't exist. It's a pointer. And the sharing is to have you look for yourself. And as far as, the chaos of day-to-day relative life, that's what's happening for that organism. Did you cause or design any of that? Or is it simply just what's happening?
It seems to show up differently for different people, though.
Well, but we're not talking about different people. We're talking about Steve.
Yes. Well, I guess I evaluate how it's showing up for me as not good enough. And I then see all kinds of things. I don't know. It just doesn't. I just feel I'm doing the Steve thing wrong. But there's, what we're saying is that there is no Steve.
Okay, well,
But
we're
I
not
feel like
saying
the Steve thing wrong.
Yeah, we're not saying there is no Steve. We're making a pointer that if you look for yourself and try to find a separate entity called Steve, you will come up empty-handed. But that is not an assertion to be taken as something that you are listening as an individual to another individual saying. It's an invitation to look. And in the looking, there can be an insight that happens that, oh, well, the thing I thought was doing my life is actually not even there. That can happen. But unless that insight happens to Steve, hearing about it's of no value, or of very little value at the best. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Unless there's a direct investigation, kind of looking from, and all these meetings is an opportunity to look. And, pointers are offered, and then you have a look for yourself where the pointers point. And so a pointer comes that, look for the separate entity called Steve, and can you find one anywhere? Right now. I mean, it's not something you're going to do tomorrow, because there ain't no tomorrow. There's only now. You can only look right now. So looking right now, where is Steve? Where is the one called Steve? Where is that me? Just look directly and see. Where is Steve? Without a concept, where is Steve?
The first level of that is Steve is in his room here, and Steve is, in New York, and Steve, that's the first level of it. Is that's where Steve is.
And all those are concepts. Can you see that all of that you just said is concept?
How would I see that as concept?
Well,